Welcome friends, welcome back to the lessons. Today in the new lesson, we will study the poem written by Kamala Das, My Mother at 66. I am Indian, very brown, born in Malabar. I speak 3 languages, write in 2 and dream in 1. These lines introduce one and only one poet of her kind to the world of literature. She was a diva of love, passion, womanhood and a celebration of pain to the world of literature. Let's find more about Kamala Das here. Kamala Das was born on March 31st, 1934 in Malabar in the state of Kerala. She was privately educated until the age of 15 when she was married to K. Madhava Das. Kamala Das has published many novels and short stories in English as well as in Malayalam under the name Madhavikutti. Some of her works in English includes the novel Alphabet of Lust, a collection of short stories called Padmavati, the Harlot and other stories, in addition to books of poetry including Summer in Kolkata, The Descendants, The Old Playhouse and other poems, the Annamalai poems. With her poems, she tried to give voice to a generation of women who were confined to their households and considered a commodity to be exchanged through marriage. She portrayed the women in her poems as human, with desires, pain, and emotions just like men. This has always been someone else's world, not mine. My man, my sons forming the axis, while I, wife and mother, climb the glass panes of their eyes. Her best known work was her autobiography My Story, which was published in 1976, a shockingly intimate work which came to be regarded as a classic. In later life, Das said that parts of the book were fictional. In 1999, she converted to Islam, renaming herself Kamala Suraya. She received many literary prizes, including the Asian World Prize for Literature in 1985. She was nominated and shortlisted for Nobel Prize for Literature in 1984. Kamala Das passed away on 31st May in a hospital in Pune. That was Kamala. She wore the blood and flesh of an Indian woman. She portrayed the pen picture of the longings and desires of millions of Indian women in the simplest language, which entered into the minds of the readers like a sharp-edged arrow. You call me wife. I was taught to break saccharin into your tea and to offer at the right moment the vitamins. Cowering beneath your monstrous ego, I ate the magic loaf and became a dwarf. I lost my will and reason. To all your questions, I mumbled incoherent replies. These lines hurt. It portrays the tragic predicament of millions of Indian women who are confined to what Virginia Woolf called the room in the attic. Kamala was celebrating the subtle emotions of human life. There is not even a single emotion untouched by Kamala Das. Love, jealousy, ego, hatred, anger, disillusionment, resentment, innocence, hilariousness, everything. She is even called the mother of English poetry in India. My Mother at 66 is a poem by Kamala Das which deals with themes of aging, filial love. Filial love means love of children towards their parents, and death, separation and sorrow. It is a first person confessional poem. It gives us the subtle intricacies of a daughter-mother relationship. The poem captures a train of thoughts that came to the mind of the poet while she was traveling to the airport with her aged mother. The feeling of separation and the thought of the inevitable death of her mother saddens her. A peculiarity of this poem is that the entire poem is written in a single sentence. Now let's listen to the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me. doors, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, worn, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. And this is a poem in very simple language but with lots of images. When we go to the explanation of this poem, driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. The poet was traveling to Cochin airport with her aged mother. The mother was sleeping inside the car with her mouth open. Her face was colorless like that of a dead body. Corpse, dead body. Seeing this appearance of her mother, the poet was suddenly filled with a fear of separation and loss. The poet's mother was aged. At 66, it was hard to tell how long she would live. Moreover, inside the car, she was sleeping, her mouth held open, and her skin so colorless like that of a dead body. Ashen means grey, it represents old age, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. So, sprinting here means running, running very fast, spilling, running out. While the poet was deeply thinking about this separation, she happened to look at the mother. The poet was amazed to see that her mother had really grown old. Now she had to accept that her mother was really old. Her mind so heavy with this thought. The poet looked out and tried to brush away her sadness. But what she saw outside did not cheer her up. On the contrary, she grew sadder looking out. What she saw there sharply contrasted with what she had with her mother. Outside, the young trees were running cheerfully. Young children were in their jolly mood, playing fun and frolic. Everything looked cheerful outside, while the mother remained almost lifeless like a corpse inside. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, worn, pale as a late winter's moon. The security check was completed. Then she standing near the mother. She turns back at mother who stood a few yards away. The poet now looks at her mother's aged face. The two words worn and pale. It describes pallid. It describes mother's appearance. The late winter's moon is very dim, last part of the moon. It's getting dark. Darkness symbolizes death. It is always under the threat of dark clouds of fog and mist, this winter's moon. Any moment, the moon in the late winter can be hidden by these clouds, hidden by death. Similarly, the poet's mother also is approaching her death and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. Here the words ache, pain. Childhood's fear of losing her mother. Sometimes children used to have this fear during their childhood. Amma is a Malayalam word for mother. So in the childhood, she was afraid of losing her mother. She used to fear these occasions as she thought they would never meet again. The poet is attempting to ease the situation by some words of consolation, that see you Amma, see you soon Amma, and also by smiling to console the mother. She could not speak many words, only 4 words, see you soon Amma. She had the last hope of meeting her once again, yet she struck a note of optimism even in the midst of this sadness by saying they both would meet again. They smile, smile and smile and smile. It's a repetition. This smile actually is not a real smile. She's hiding her fears inside and showing a smiling face to her mother. When we analyze the themes, this poem is very subtle in its approach but very intense in its emotions. Another peculiarity is that action and emotion are intertwined in the poem, interlaced or mixed throughout the poem. The idea of movement is very central in this poem. The movement, they are moving to the airport, and the movement of poet's mind into the past of her mother, and into the childhood, into her childhood fear, and her movement towards her mother are all intermingled in this poem. Notice the very first word of this poem. It is a verb of movement, driving from my parents' home. So these intermingling emotions of love, hope, longing, nostalgia and separation and hopelessness, everything comes at the end when the repetition of final words of the poem. All I did was smile and smile and smile. That is repetition. Now let us find out what are the poetic devices used in the poem. Already we have mentioned a few, but we will have a complete list of that. The figures of speech or poetic devices used in this poem. Simile is used 2 times. Wan, pale as late winter's moon. Face of the mother is compared as late winter's moon. Then her face ashen like that of a corpse, comparing her face to a corpse. Personification. Inanimate objects are given human quality. Sprinting trees. Trees will not sprint, human beings sprint. And repetition. Smile and smile and smile towards the end. Contrast. Life inside the car, death or darkness, and life outside the car, youthfulness of children playing outside. Contrast. Metaphor. Merry children spilling out of their homes. It's a comparison. And one more poetic device, that is not a commonly used one, chromomorphism. It is opposite of personification. Personification is giving inanimate objects human quality, but here chromomorphism is giving the quality of inanimate objects to human beings. Children will not spill out, water spill out, or something inanimate will spill out. But here the poet tells children spilling out of their homes. Now I have this ready reckoner for you. Key phrases and explanations of this poem. It will be highly useful for you during the exams, because you know that from poetry, extract based questions will be asked. In this extract based questions, the board will ask questions related to some phrases. These are the key phrases in the chapter. So I request all of you to write it in your notebook. What type of questions can come from this chapter? Let us find out. And these are the questions asked by CBSE from this chapter. So write all these questions in your notebook along with answers. Before leaving, I would like to give you something more. We will find out some of the beautiful lines written by Kamala Das. Hope you enjoyed today's lessons. Thank you.